Oh, peace, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dan Trezzomi. In this episode, we're going to talk about anime in the golden age of bootleg VHS tapes. Yep, anime and bootleg VHS tapes. You're going to dig it on all things geekery. Check it out. I know I took it back when I said bootleg VHS tapes. And I really, when I do these videos, and even when I interact with young people, I try not to be like an old fogey, right? But this video is inspired by a lot of my students, a lot of young people that I know who are into anime, way much more than I am now or ever was. And they always say, yo, you should check this out. And I always check it out, and I'm always disappointed. It's like, man, this really sucks. And we're going to kind of discuss that now. Coming up, bootleg VHS tapes is how you saw a lot of that stuff. How a lot of people got exposed to like kung fu flicks and anime. Like, they didn't show it on regular TV, 20 years ago when we were coming up, 25 years ago we were coming up. So the way you got it was your man's man had a bootleg VHS of Fist of the North Star or Vampire Hunter D, or Ninja Scroll. Like, that's how you saw anime, outside of the fact that it was, Battle of the Planets when we were really young kids. And that really was the archetype of what we see Japanimation doing now. But that's the only way you saw it back in my day. So there was like a lot of really dope quality stuff that was being put out, it seems. And I'm really trying not to sound like an old fogey here, so you got to bear with me. Some of y'all are gonna remember, when Akira came out. When it was released in the United States, which was in the late '80s, early '90s. Akira, like everybody, like when that movie came out, like everybody jumped on it. And again, you had to watch that on bootleg DVD. I mean, excuse me. You had to watch that on bootleg VHS tape, like that your man's cousins, baby mom's cousins had. And that's how you saw it. And it was like, that's how we all saw it. We passed this, this bootleg VHS tape around. But that like changed the game. All of a sudden, they started releasing all these VHS tapes commercially of anime. It was still, because there was a time when VHS tapes were like, $29.95, So again, the bootleg industry really hooked us up when it came to that. But they were still giving out quality anime, Japanimation movies. So I think it was an advent of like, 24-hour cable TV, Toonami on Cartoon Network, and all those other networks that were doing the stuff where they were like consistently showing you all this Japanimation, that the quality was not just in the artwork, but also in the writing that was just like really, really horrible. I think the best example I could give, and I'll probably get hated on for this, is Dragon Ball Z, which I don't consider anime. And it's like a lot of kids, like especially my son, my oldest son, who's going to be 21, he came up watching that. So that was his exposure, to Japanimation. Because, I couldn't show him Ninja Scroll when he was 5. I couldn't, right? So I think you have a generation of kids. Again, I'm not trying to be an old fogey. I'm not trying to hate. Where they're like, hey, this is Japanime. So they're recommending stuff to me that I'm kind of like, this is not good, And again, I'm gonna get hated on for saying these things. But I just noticed that a lot of young people always recommend Japanime or Japanimation, however you want to call it. That is just poor quality, Again, not just in the artwork, but in the writing. And there's just like stuff upon stuff. And there's, I'm not into schoolgirl stuff. Like, I'm really not into that stuff. Like, I don't know where that came from. I'm not into that. I want to see action and, decent writing. It doesn't have to be Shakespearean. It just has to be decent. And I think that really messed up the game, because there's a lot of stuff that I feel, I feel that when you say anime, there's a lot of things that fall under it that I don't think is considered anime. And, mind you, I came from the time of, Ninja Scroll and Vampire Hunter D, Akira, etc., etc. So, again, shout out to the bootleg VHS tape industry that's not around anymore for letting us see and Japanimation back when I was young. Peace.
smart now.